No protection comes only in the form of a wall. Sometimes it is a whisper of intuition, an instinct that tells you to turn back. The feeling that someone is watching you, not from the outside, but from deep within yourself. In a world full of noise and chaos, the soul seeks symbols to guide it toward the truth. One of those symbols is the spirit animal. They are not animals literally, but internal energies that sleep within you, waiting for you to recognize them. Carl Jung wrote about archetypes as universal patterns present in the collective unconscious. The spirit animal is precisely one of those archetypes, an image that doesn't speak with words, but does so through energy, presence, a dream, or a sudden premonition. Jung knew that what attracts you says more about you than what you choose rationally. There is no logic in your choice. It's about resonance. Before you are 5 spirit animals. Observe them and choose the one that attracts you the most. Don't analyze. Don't ask yourself why. Your soul already knows. Each of them is the guardian of a different energy, a different inner portal. Your choice is not random. It reflects your current stage of life, your need, your wound, and your strength. It may be the white wolf standing on the border of worlds and protecting your independence, or the violet deer, a being of light and tenderness that guides you toward profound compassion. The golden lion that reminds you of the strength of the heart and spiritual leadership. The golden and green deer that walks silently through your soul, combining wild nature and wisdom. Or perhaps the dark raven is a guardian of the shadows who brings the truth you are afraid to tell. This video is an invitation to look deeply within yourself, to remember who protects you when all the voices fall silent. The spirit animal does not speak. It breathes within you. Ready? Look at the image again. Choose one, and then listen. Its story is your story. If you have chosen the white wolf, it means that your soul is now invoking the archetype of the border guard. Wolf is not just an animal. In your inner world, it is the force that protects your psyche. It does not allow what poisons you to penetrate deeper. It does not let in the foreign, the inauthentic, that which tries to take over your inner world. The wolf stands on the border between you and the world, and although no one sees it, its presence is real and intense. The white wolf is a symbol of independence, instinct, and loyalty to oneself. It appears in your life when you need protection, but not the kind that can be seen from the outside. It protects your integrity, what you truly are, before you learned to hide your emotions, before you started pretending to be someone you are not to be accepted. This spirit animal reminds you of your original self, the one who knows what it wants, who doesn't need explanations, who can leave when something stops resonating with its soul. Choosing the wolf is a sign that your inner guide is awakening within you. Something inside you says, enough with the compromises. Enough with holding back. Enough with putting others first at the expense of your own truth. The wolf does not scream, does not fight blindly. It observes, feels, and acts only when it is truly necessary. It is a master of intuition. If you have invoked it, it is because your intuition is trying to communicate with you. Perhaps you have been ignoring it. Perhaps for too long you have listened to the voices of others and silenced that soft whisper within you. But the wolf has come to amplify it so that you can trust yourself again. The color white here is not a coincidence. It represents the purity of intentions, spiritual consciousness, but also solitude, which is not a punishment but a choice. The wolf often travels alone, not because it cannot be with others, but because sometimes it needs to separate itself to not lose itself. Do you feel that right now you are separating from what you no longer need? Do you feel you are on the border and still don't know whether to move forward or go back? The wolf comes to tell you, you have the right to be alone. You have the right to follow your own path. You have the right not to justify who you are. This spirit animal acts as a guardian of your energetic territory, Perhaps lately too many people have gotten too close, have invaded your boundaries, have taken advantage of your sensitivity. Perhaps you didn't know how to say no. Perhaps you feared that rejection would mean losing love. But now the time has come to change that. The white wolf teaches you that true love does not fear boundaries, that saying no can be the deepest expression of respect for oneself and for others. The wolf also carries the energy of loyalty, but it is not a blind devotion to others. It is about loyalty to your own soul. Are you faithful to yourself? Do you still hear the voice that spoke to you when you were a child? The one who knew what made you happy, what moved you, what hurt you. The white wolf comes so that you can listen to that voice again, so that you can take your own side. It also protects the lonely, those who do not fit into the crowd, those who feel that their path goes through the forest and not the highway. Do you feel different? Do you have the feeling that people don't understand you? That's because your spiritual rhythm is different, deeper, quieter, more instinctive. The wolf understands you. It doesn't need the recognition of the crowd. It is enough for it to know that it walks according to its truth. It is also an animal of ritual. In the traditions of indigenous peoples, the wolf was often considered a guide in the spiritual world. Perhaps you are now on the verge of a spiritual initiation. Maybe something in you is dying so that something new can be born. The wolf does not fear the darkness. It crosses it with open eyes, alert and serene. It does not fight the night. It lives in it, learns from it, listens to what others cannot hear. If you have chosen the white wolf, your soul is reminding you of your strength, which you may have considered a weakness, about your solitude, which is actually a form of protection, about your intuition that you have repressed for too long, and about the boundaries that you have the right to set without feeling guilty. Now is not the time to back down. It is time to stand firm. Even if that means leaving the usual path, the wolf will go with you, not as someone who will guide you, but as someone who will remind you that you already knew the way from the beginning. If you have chosen the violet deer, your soul today yearns for silence. But it is not a common silence. It is a sacred silence in which you begin to listen to yourself. The violet deer does not appear in the middle of the noise. It arrives when the world becomes too loud, too harsh, too alien, when your heart asks for space, tenderness, and a soft light that does not dazzle but heals. This deer is not a warrior. It does not fight, it heals. It comes to those who have the courage to feel more deeply than others, to those who know how to cry without being ashamed of their tears, to those who carry tenderness within themselves as the most valuable treasure of the soul. Its violet energy is the vibration of spiritual sensitivity. It is the color of intuition, transformation, and contact with the invisible. This deer guides you through lands that cannot be seen with the eyes, but that your heart recognizes immediately. If you have chosen it, it means that now, more than ever, your soul needs a connection with the subtle world, dreams, symbols, aromas, memories, the tender gaze of someone who truly sees you. The purple deer is the archetype of inner empathy. It is not just about emotions, but about a deep attunement to another person. Within you is the ability to feel more than can be expressed in words. Sometimes you are invaded by the sadness of others, even if they do not express it. Upon entering a room, you immediately perceive a tension that goes unnoticed by others. It is not a coincidence. It is a gift. Although it is sometimes a heavy burden, it is precisely that which makes you a healer. Not necessarily those who heal bodies, but those who calm souls just with their presence. By choosing this deer, your soul reminds you that what is tender is not weak. On the contrary, the most subtle has the greatest strength. Like the dew that appears before dawn and can moisten the earth more than a storm. The deer does not scream. It observes, feels, and moves so silently that no one hears its steps, and yet its presence changes everything. This spirit animal comes to teach you to respect your sensitivity so that you no longer have to hide it, so that you don't have to pretend it doesn't hurt when it does, so that you don't have to be stronger than you are. The violet deer lives on the border of worlds, between the world of matter and the world of the spirit. Perhaps right now you feel that something inside you is changing, that you no longer fit in what was once yours, that your soul yearns for something bigger, deeper, more authentic. The deer does not give answers, but guides you into the depths of the questions, those that remain for a long time, that change the way you see the world. It is a guide for mystics, for those who feel that life has layers that cannot be touched, but can be experienced. The purple deer also protects fragile boundaries, those that others do not see, but that you feel with great clarity. They are energetic, emotional, and spiritual boundaries. When someone gets too close without asking, when someone crosses your line, when someone tries to make you the same as themselves, the deer reminds you that you have the right to withdraw, that you can leave without giving explanations, that you do not need to justify your need for peace, silence, or solitude. Your no is sacred, and your yes is too. And the violet deer makes sure that you choose in accordance with yourself and not out of fear. This spirit animal brings a message for highly developed souls who have forgotten themselves while serving others. Perhaps you are giving too much. Perhaps you still put others before yourself. It may be that your heart is full of love, but you have forgotten that it must first be filled with that love for yourself. The deer reminds you, your peace is more important than the satisfaction of others. Your inner balance is sacred, and you don't have to justify it. Violet is also the color of spiritual healing. Perhaps you are going through a stage of transformation, losing someone, something, a part of you, and you feel lost, empty, fragile. The deer says, trust this process. Your soul is not dying, it is being reborn. In softness, it carries a strength that does not come from struggle, but from presence, from being here and now completely, from accepting yourself in your totality with your fatigue, fears, and insecurities. If you chose the purple deer, it means that your light is necessary even if you cannot see it yet, that your presence has power even if you doubt it, and that your sensitivity is a blessing, although the world has tried to convince you that it is a curse. The deer tells you, don't change to be accepted. Be yourself, and you will find those who see you as you are. The time has come to slow down, listen to yourself, and let go of the burdens that do not belong to you. The violet deer is already by your side in the silence that does not frighten but calms, in the gaze that says, you are enough right now, just as you are. If you looked at the painting and this golden lion attracted your soul, it means that you are at that moment in life when your inner strength awakens. Not the one that dominates others, but the one that radiates from the deepest part of the heart. Silent, calm, unwavering. The golden lion does not roar to intimidate. It does not need to shout to be noticed. Its presence speaks for itself. This spirit animal symbolizes spiritual leadership, the courage to exist, and the majestic royalty that does not need a crown, because the crown is the self-awareness of its own value. The lion appears when your soul wants to return to its greatness, when you have lived too long in the shadow, not of the world, but of your own doubts, when you have forgotten who you are, when you have bowed your head so as not to shine too brightly, because you feared rejection, envy, incomprehension. But that's enough. The lion has not come for you to hide again. It has come for you to stand completely in your truth, in that which is in you of the purest and strongest in the heart. The gold that the lion carries does not only mean luxury or success. It is an alchemical gold, a symbol of transformation, purification, and reaching a higher state of consciousness. If you have chosen the lion, that means that a process of spiritual initiation is happening within you. Something in you is maturing. Something is burning so that something can be reborn. And although you do not yet see the fruits of this inner work, the lion comes to tell you, are you ready? The time has come. This spirit animal is also the guardian of the heart, of its courage, integrity, and power of forgiveness. Perhaps you carry anger within you. Perhaps you are tired of being strong. Perhaps someone disappointed you, hurt you, left, and you still carry that within you as a burden that you cannot get rid of. The lion does not say, forget. He says, feel, go through it, but don't allow that to extinguish your light. Because the greatest strength of the lion is not physical strength. It is the ability to stand in the truth even when it hurts. It is the ability to love while being fully aware of the risk. It is the courage to be oneself, without masks, without strategies, without manipulation. The golden lion reminds you that you were created to lead. Perhaps not crowds, perhaps not with noisy words, but your family, your relationships, your inner child, and above all, yourself. True leadership begins where the fear of oneself ends, where you stop waiting for permission to be, where you stop justifying your dreams, where you start breathing with full lungs. The choice of the lion can also mean that you are in a stage where your soul needs to be heard. Perhaps you have been silencing it for too long. Perhaps you have been giving, helping, carrying others while you yourself were shrinking. The lion says, you are not less important. Your needs are sacred. Your boundaries are real. You have the right to say enough. You have the right to say, I need it too. That is not selfishness. It is the recognition of your human dignity. Only those who know how to take care of themselves can truly be by the side of others. The golden lion is also the guardian of your vision. Somewhere inside you, there is an image of the life you want to create. Maybe you can't name it yet, but you feel it, like a heat in your chest, like a spark that appears when you do what you really love. The lion reminds you, don't forget it. Even if the world says it's impossible, even if others don't understand it, you have a vision, you have a fire, and it is your task not to let it go out. This spirit animal also brings a message about responsibility. Not that heavy responsibility linked to obligations, but the one that arises from freedom, responsibility for oneself, for your emotions, for your choices. The lion does not look for culprits. It looks in the mirror and says, I myself create my life. If you have chosen this animal, your soul wants you to stop waiting for salvation from the outside. It wants you to understand that the answer is yourself, that everything you are looking for is already within you. It is just waiting for you to see it. And finally, the golden lion is a reminder of your light. Yes, you are light. Even if you feel lost now, even if everything is falling apart, even if you have doubts, your light does not go out. Perhaps it is only covered by pain, by experiences that have hurt you, by words that made you feel shame. But that light is there, and the lion has come to awaken it. If you have chosen the golden lion, that does not mean that you are already strong. It means that your soul is calling you to become strong, that within you is everything you need to guide you through the darkest nights, that you are ready to stop being a victim and become a creator, and that now the time has come, not tomorrow, not in a year now, to remember who you really are. The lion is not going to guide you. It will be by your side as an echo of your own heart, as the sun within you, as the consciousness that tells you, you can and you deserve it. If it was precisely the golden and green deer that caught your attention, it means that your soul is on the path of balance. Subtle, almost invisible to the external eye, but perceptible from within, like the whisper of the forest in the mornings. This deer does not appear in the lives of those who run away. It shows itself to those who begin to walk slowly, with attention, with an inner calm in their heart. It symbolizes the union of two worlds, wild nature and wisdom rooted in the ancient rhythm of life. It is not a deer that flees. It is a deer that looks you in the eyes and waits for you to also stop on your journey to understand where you are really going. The gold in its fur is enlightenment, inner light, the awakening that does not shout, but clarifies what was confusing until now. Green is nature, the breath of the earth, the life cycle that knows no haste, but does know wisdom. This deer comes to you when a deeper question begins to be born within you. Do I really live in harmony with who I am? It's not about big changes. It's about returning to simplicity, to what is real, rooted, authentic. This archetype is the guardian of the path of the heart, a path that is not always straight, but is always yours. The deer does not bring answers, it brings calm. In its gaze, you can see yourself as you were before the world taught you to fear your own strength. The golden and green deer does not call, does not seduce, does not pressure. It simply is. And that simple being in its presence reminds you that you also do not have to prove anything else, that it is enough to simply be. If you have chosen it, maybe you have been looking for yourself outside of yourself for a long time, in relationships, in achievements, in the recognition of others. And although that may have given you temporary relief, deep down you felt that it was not enough, that your roots went further, that your soul yearned for a silence that cannot be found in the outside world. The deer shows that the only true temple is within you, in your breath, in your presence, in your willingness to stop running away from that which is still unresolved within you. Its energy is soft, but not weak, tender, but not helpless. It is the force of nature, the one that does not need words to transform. Like the trees that keep silent but heal, like the wind that does not ask for permission to pass. The deer is a wisdom that does not need theories. It knows because it lives in harmony with the rhythm. And you can also learn this, to trust yourself, to trust life, to trust what comes and goes, because everything has its time. The golden and green deer also reminds you of your connection with the body. Perhaps you have been ignoring it for too long. Perhaps you have tried to spiritualize yourself, forgetting that your body is also a temple. The deer says, stop. Listen to what your body tells you. It knows the answers that your mind does not understand. In its presence, the connection with instinct returns, with the rhythm of the heart, with the breath that does not lie. This spirit animal also appears at times when you have to decide whether to follow the old path or take a risk and take a new, unknown, but truer one. The deer tells you, trust what you feel, not what seems safe, because what is safe often turns out to be a trap of comfort. And the soul came here for something bigger than comfort. It came for the truth, for the experience, for a full life. If you feel you are on the verge of a change, but you are afraid to take the first step, that is why the deer has come to you. It does not push you, but it also does not allow you to go back. It walks by your side, step by step, and although it does not speak, its presence says it all. You are not alone. The earth sustains you. The soul guides you. Just trust. The golden and green deer is also the guardian of the cycle of rebirth. Perhaps you are now in a stage where something inside you is ending. An old identity, past relationships, a way of thinking that no longer works. This is not the end. It is a transformation. The deer does not fear changes. It goes through them with humility and softness. It teaches you that it is not necessary to fight to survive. Sometimes it is enough to stop resisting and allow life to flow through you. If you have chosen it, then your soul is telling you you have the right to go at your own pace. You have the right to rest. You have the right not to know. It is an invitation to trust that everything has its own rhythm, that nothing that should happen to you will pass you by, and nothing that belongs to you will leave. The deer does not give you strength. It reminds you that you already have it. If your soul was attracted to where the light of everyday consciousness does not penetrate, to where fears, desires, unhealed wounds, and forgotten dreams hide. The raven does not fear the darkness, it lives in it. It is its guardian and its guide. If you have chosen it, your soul is on the verge of an initiation, not external, but internal, one in which the old begins to crumble to make space for the new. The raven appears when something comes to an end, a cycle, a relationship, a way of life, an identity. It comes to tell you that it is time to dive deeper, that you can no longer pretend that everything is fine. It does not bring comfort, it brings the truth. In mythology around the world, the raven is a messenger. It brings news from other worlds, from the subconscious, from the space of dreams, from the place where spirit meets matter. It does not speak the language of words, but the language of signs, of synchronicity, of premonitions. If you have invoked it, it means that you are ready to start listening to what you previously ignored. Perhaps it is that silent voice that for years tried to come to the surface. Perhaps it is the intuition that you have been silencing with rational thought. The raven says, "The time has come." You can no longer pretend you don't know because you do know. The darkness that the raven symbolizes is not evil. It is not the darkness of destruction, but the darkness of the womb, the space where a new life is born. A place where you must first die symbolically to be reborn. The raven does not take you to the peaks. It takes you inward, to the places you fear to visit. But only there can you find what you are really looking for, your true self. Not the one you were forced to become, nor the one you transformed into to survive, but the one you are in your essence. If you fear something within you, the raven will lead you to it. If you suppress any part of your history, the raven will remind you of it, not to punish you, but so that you stop being afraid. Because that which remains unconscious secretly controls you, but that which is conscious loses its power over you. Jung said, "What we do not recognize in ourselves manifests outside as destiny." The raven says, "Change your destiny by turning inward." This spirit animal also appears when the time comes to heal family or ancestral wounds. Perhaps you carry a burden that does not belong to you. Perhaps you live according to a pattern that has been repeated in your family for generations. The raven helps you to immerse yourself in this heritage to understand it and release it. It reminds you that you not only inherited traumas, but also strength, and that you can be the one who breaks the cycle. The one who does not flee from pain, but accepts it, the one who will no longer carry the shadow further. As a guardian between worlds, the raven can also announce the awakening in you of the ability to communicate with the invisible. Perhaps you have disturbing dreams, premonitions that come true, sensitivity to the energy of places and people. It is not a coincidence, it is an awakening. Your soul is opening up to the subtle worlds, and the raven comes to guide you through them. Do not be afraid. You are safe. You are being guided. You are ready. Its darkness does not mean coldness. It carries a deep love, a love that is not based on conditions, a love that says, "I see you completely with your wounds, with your anger, with everything you try to hide, and so I love you just as you are." The raven does not expect perfection from you. It wants the truth, because only the truth can set you free. If you have chosen the raven, you may be going through a crisis right now. Maybe something is falling apart. Maybe you feel lonely, lost, misunderstood. This is not a punishment. It is an invitation. The raven says, "Descend deeper." This is not the end. It is the beginning. Although the path through the shadow is difficult, there you will find the treasures you have been looking for all your life. There you will find yourself. The raven is not just a guide, it is a mirror. By looking into its eyes, you see what you have forgotten about yourself and what you try to hide, but only by accepting yourself completely can you become truly free. Do not fear this journey. You are not alone. The raven already guides you step by step in the silence, in the shadow, in the truth. The animal you have chosen is not a coincidence. This is not a game of imagination or a whim of the mind. It is the echo of your soul. The animal that attracted you today did not appear to entertain you, but to remind you who you really are when you take off all the masks that life has imposed on you. Each of these 5 animals carries a different vibration, a different nuance, and its own light, but they are all part of a larger whole, your own psyche. Because what you choose instinctively reflects the deep wisdom of your inner world. It's not about which animal is better or stronger. It's about which of them speaks to you most strongly today. Which of them touched that place in you that perhaps has been dormant, forgotten, abandoned for many years, and is now trying to awaken. In primitive cultures, the spirit animal was not just a symbol. It was a being with whom people lived in relationship. It was invoked in prayers. Its symbol was worn on the body. It was seen in dreams and sometimes even worshipped, because it was understood that each animal carries an archetype, a powerful force that can guide, protect, and heal. Today, in a world disconnected from the sacred, it is becoming more difficult for us to hear the voices of our internal guides, but they are still there. They wait patiently in silence until you remember again how to talk to them. The animal that found you today will not abandon you when this video ends. It is already within you, and now you may begin to notice it in dreams, in symbols, in sudden thoughts, or in unexpected encounters. Perhaps it will come in the form of a sign, a raven on a branch, a deer in the forest, a black cat in the street, a snake in a dream. Do not ignore it. It is the language of the soul, a language that no school will teach you, but that you will recognize with your whole being as soon as you start to truly listen. You don't need to understand everything right away. It is enough to feel it, to allow that animal to accompany you, step by step, not as your owner, not as your shadow, but as your mirror. Because each of these animals shows you that part of you that you most need right now to return to your inner fullness, to stop fighting what you feel, to stand up in your truth, without shame, without fear, without pretense. Carl Jung once wrote, "Man does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The spirit animal is your first step on this journey, on the journey inward, where you don't need to prove anything, where everything you are is already enough. Let this animal guide you. Let it remind you that you are not alone, that within you there is a strength that you have not yet fully discovered, and that every path, even the one that goes through the shadow, leads you to the light, but not to the one outside, but to the one you always carry within you. Thank you for embarking on this symbolic journey today. And if you feel that you want to continue, your animal is already waiting for you. It already knows you and will guide you through a whisper in a dream, a sign on the path, or that silent presence that cannot be confused with anything else. Your soul knows where to go. Trust it.